recording.
Dope. What is up, everybody? We are back at Biting the Bullet. We're fucking with StreamYard, so if you hear us clicking around in the background, it's because we're figuring out how to use it. We were supposed to have a guest on this episode, the crazy and eccentric and incredibly intelligent Mr. Paz from TLE, but he will be joining us another time. So you get stuck with Typo and I. We got him coming up. I'm fucking Lee from Enfield Lee on Twitter. He's gonna be on our show next week as well. So we got some guests lined up. We're also on 5 till midnight, so go check us out there every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a good time, and we have Adam Nutter, Kyle Matovich, the illegitimate scholar Samuel Urban, and me and Typo. And it's a good time. So go check us out there. Other than that, Typo, how was your fucking week? We haven't done a show. We didn't do a show last week. We were busy. But this week we got our show going. So what's up? How you been?
I'm doing good. Not much has changed. Yeah.
Same
pretty
shit,
crazy.
different day.
We're hopefully, if the StreamYard works out, we'll be posting video, hopefully on our Twitter and YouTube for sure. That's actually already linked, so that's for sure happening. Maybe we'll get some other sites going just in case you guys don't like to use YouTube or Twitter. Maybe we can get like Rumble. I don't know. We'll see. Right now we have YouTube and we have Twitter. So find us there. Look at this. We got a logo, we got a banner.
Look at us, dude.
Look at us. We look like podcasters.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you like this view or do you like the other view? Do you like this guy? You're real close. I can count all the hairs on your upper lip in this.
I know.
View.
I don't know why my camera. I guess.
Thankfully, I can adjust my camera.
Well, maybe I can do that, but I don't know how.
I have a remote. I have a fucking remote for my camera.
I'm not.
This
that
thing's
cool.
insane.
I am not that cool.
Yeah, well, other than that, I'll be at fucking IATC this weekend. By the time you guys have heard this, I'll already be posting on Twitter probably how I did. But I'll be at the International Axe Throwing Championship. So that'll be dope up in Toronto. So that'll be a good time. Hopefully I do well and make some money on it. That'd be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, dude. You already ranked like what, 25?
Yep, number 25 out of 256. So I'll take it. You want to tell me?
Top 32, at least unless it's changed, but top 32 get money. So
yeah, I think only top 16 make day 2 this year, though. I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
It's weird. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Some interesting things in the news this week. Hunter Biden goes down for fucking gun laws that shouldn't be enforced.
Dude, Hunter Biden's kind of like, I don't know, in a strange way, I kind of respect him. Like
Did you see the video of him like pulling that girl down the hallway?
I've seen lots of videos of Hunter Biden. Let me tell you. he like records every criminal act he's ever done. Like it's
so
amazing.
Crazy.
To me, that he was gifted on this planet to be the vice president's son,
and now the president's son.
And then he scores twice. He was the vice president's son for 8 years. He's a politician's son his whole life, but vice president's son for 8 years. Got a sick job working at some corrupt energy company in Ukraine, where I doubt he was doing anything besides like what he posted on his laptop, which was smoking crack, like hookers.
Look at this shit.
Oh yeah, dude, look at this. We're playing a video. Hunter's naked chasing a girl down the hallway.
and then drags her back.
Yep.
And falls down the hallway in a hotel. Insane. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Dude, this is crazy.
Crazy. I don't get it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, dude. And now he's just like, oh yeah, he like, banged his brother's widow after he passed.
Forgot about that. Forgot about that.
Yeah, some weird. I think he got her. I think she came out in court and said that he got her addicted to crack.
Nice.
And
nice.
Like,
good guy.
I mean, this guy is just—he's a character. He's one of those like I don't know. He's just one of those characters that take the morals out of it. Very interesting life. Very interesting life.
Yeah.
And
don't read into it too much.
Yeah. Don't. I know he's like a piece of shit. Like everyone knows that, but it's just astonishing to me. He's like smoking crack. He was like going like 160 down the highway with a crack pipe in his mouth, filming himself. You're just like, dude, this guy, this guy just has no fucking give it, dude.
I would say no cell phone in sight, just dudes being dudes, but he always has a cell phone recording it.
Yeah.
Every single time.
It's amazing. And
it is amazing.
I do get the tendency for a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people that are like, oh, you shouldn't go down for this. You should go down for other things. And I totally agree. But people are like, well, if he goes down for this, then they're going to use this against you. Dude, they're already using this against us.
Yeah,
they're already going to make up some shit and go after it. Like, that is just not, I don't know. I don't know what the scheme here is. There's some people that posted some theories. There's one guy that was like, maybe they think Hunter's going to go to jail. So then this will be an excuse of like, see, no one's above the law. So now we can throw Trump in jail.
Yo.
I was like, that's interesting.
Dr. Jill Biden probably wants him in jail. She's probably like, this motherfucker needs to go to jail.
Well, at least he should be banned from ever having like a recording device near him for the rest of his life. Like, that's for sure. And one way to guarantee that might be jail. But I don't know. Yeah. I feel like people can. I've seen some weird videos of prisoners recording in their cell. So I don't even know if prison can stop them.
You can definitely get a. Could you imagine? Could you imagine
recording himself?
It gets posted on Twitter. He's like doing crack in jail. That would be amazing.
That would be peak American justice system right there, dude.
You can get anything in jail, man. You can get fucking anything in jail.
That would actually be kind of amazing. I don't know. I don't know if he'll go to jail. I mean, maybe
Biden can just pardon him, can he?
Yeah, he could just pardon him, but I don't know.
But if he does, I mean, I feel like that just destroys his campaign, like right away.
Yeah, what I'll say this: if Hunter does go to jail, I feel like Biden will pardon him before he leaves office.
Yeah, if he thinks he's not going to win.
Yeah, like if the election's over, you have like that 2 month, 3 month time frame where you're like president still, and that's when they do all their pardons. So I imagine if Biden's, I kind of, in a morality sense, like I feel like he should pardon his son.
It's your son. If you have the opportunity.
I would pardon my son, even if he smokes crack and films himself. I would do that. But I don't know. It's just interesting dynamic. I think it's possible. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I think it's possible he pardons his son, or not even that. He might not even have to. It might be like time served, or like he has to do community service or something.
Yeah, it's probably community service.
Because it says
I don't even know what the
25 years.
Yeah, what were the gun charges for Biden?
I don't even know. I know when I see gun charges, I usually.
I mean,
it's
bullshit.
But
yeah, I'll look it up. What are they?
Yeah, I know.
Federal gun charges related to his purchase of a firearm in 2018. The charges include making a false statement on a federal background check about his drug use, making a false statement in firearms transaction record about his drug use, violating the law barring drug users from possessing a firearm. So those are the three things that they built a case around. And I mean, he's documented all the drug use and all of it, so kind of hard to get around.
Yeah, it's very obvious he was doing drugs. Like that's. Well, what year? What was this? 2018? You said.
Yeah, 2018. Yeah, because he purchased the firearm in 2018, so gotcha. It was everything he's done since then and before then. That was recorded that they can use against him. Text messages, key evidence, text messages, photographs showing Hunter Biden's drug use, bank withdrawals, and records showing large cash transactions. Hunter Biden's own memoir, which he details his struggles with addiction.
Yeah.
And, Joe Biden still hasn't commented at all on any of the charges. Hasn't even commented about his son being in court.
He probably doesn't even know, to be honest.
It's probably doesn't. How old is Jill Biden? That's a good question.
I don't know.
His wife.
I know that's his second wife. I don't remember what happened to his
first wife. Is it his second wife?
Yeah, that's not even Hunter and Bo's mom. I think their mom died.
She's like, yeah, get this fucking guy in jail, dude. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Yeah, she was born in 1951. So that is 50 years would be 2001 plus 23, so 74 years old.
Oh, she's
looks good for 74.
Yeah,
looks pretty good for 74.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's kind of crazy. I actually thought she would be younger because I think Trump's wife, Melania, is much younger.
Yeah.
Like 30 years younger.
Biden's first wife. I don't know. I don't know this much about the Bidens. They've always kind of been like basically, I kind of see Sleepy Joe as the white vote for Barack Obama. Like that's why he was there, for no other reason.
Yeah, I know. I can tell you like the specific reasons, but that's probably a lot of it because he was known as like a Catholic, devout Catholic in office. I know when they brought him on, it was because Obama was getting a lot of criticisms from like the neocon right wing Republican guys. They were like, "Oh, he's inexperienced and he wouldn't know what to do and lead us in these wars," because the wars were like a big deal at the time. Right. And they brought Joe Biden on specifically, at least that's what they said at the time, because he was like a senior senator and has been on a lot of committees with the Iraq War and Afghanistan. Because Biden, his rise to fame was he was the one that was grilling the Democrats about getting on board with the Iraq War.
Right.
He held their feet to the fire about this because there were, I wouldn't say like too many dissident Democrats at the time. I don't exactly remember, but the ones that were like a little against this, he was the one that was like grilling them from the Democratic side about this.
Well, and his big claim to fame was the crime bill in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, he definitely passed that when the Dems were much more tougher on crime.
Yeah. And the Mongoloids. His words, not mine.
Yeah.
Just want that to be clear.
Yeah, and the thing is with Biden is, a lot of people say that it's like Obama is really pulling the strings. I've heard this a lot, which I don't really think so. Because, but I do think I think it's just what it is. It's just a repeat of the Obama administration, meaning that
Right.
all the deep state people, all the people that he appointed, all came out of the Obama administration. So it is the Obama administration .2, but it's not because Obama. I really don't. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I really don't think Obama's pulling strings. I just think it's the people behind Obama, or the same people that are behind in the shadows for Biden.
Yeah. Did you see the video of Obama and Kamala and Joe Biden in the background? Well, it was like recent. And Joe Biden's the president of the United States and nobody's paying attention to him. They're all shaking Kamala Harris and Obama's hand.
Yeah, dude. He that happened when I don't remember when it was, but it was a couple years, maybe like this first year in, when Obama came to the White House and gave like a speech, and then like everyone's like trying to like form a line around to shake Obama's hand, and everyone's just ignoring Joe Biden, and it's like, dude, he's the president right now. Like, why?
Yeah.
Everyone's just starstruck with Obama.
It's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know. I think at the beginning of this presidency, I thought, Obama was kind of behind the whole thing. Like, it's his fucking third term, but he's really been, and maybe they just do a really good job about it, but he's really been kind of out of the spotlight, in my opinion. Him and Michelle have been pretty out of the spotlight during this whole thing, which is crazy considering all the talk originally during the DNC, the committee, or not the committee, but when they were voting on who was going to be the candidate, and everybody thought it was going to be Michelle Obama that gets up there, but she was like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Yeah, I think that, like, I think Obama throws his like political weight, because like his endorsement or his when they need to get something passed or something, he'll throw is like, you should get behind Biden, like all this. But
yeah,
I don't think he's like in there making phone calls to Biden, telling him to do this or that. I mean, I just think it's the same thing that will be kind of figured out with Trump. Like, Trump's not really in charge of the government. He's constantly being undermined by his deep state. And I think Biden's job essentially is not really like to do anything. He's just, whatever these people tell him what to do, he's going to go on TV and endorse it and basically be like, this is my plan for this or that. And,
right.
And I kind of think the same thing with Obama. Like, I don't really think he exactly was in charge. Like, there was lots of times that there's that whole, what's that movie? War Machine, where like the generals were like talking shit about Obama behind his back all the time. I mean, that guy ended up getting fired, but that was probably happening, dude. That was happening at our level, like, like that was like not. It didn't really surprise me that generals were. I mean, it surprised me that generals were openly talking shit to a journalist. Like, that was just stupid.
Yeah,
but
dumb.
It was like our staff sergeant.
But we've seen James O'Keefe. We've seen what James O'Keefe does to people. Like, he fucks them and then gets them on camera. Like,
you would think it would be like more of like an undercover thing, like, some hooker is sneaking around with the general or something. No, they were just drinking, hanging out with this journalist. Yeah. But we saw it at our level. I remember. Because I remember even in boot camp, dude, because it was the Mitt Romney and Obama election happened when I was still in the middle of boot camp. And I remember like they were not very quiet about it, but the drill instructors were like talking back and forth about how they wanted Romney to win.
Yeah. I was in MCT and we got to actually go vote.
Yeah, they let us go vote too.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
I didn't either. I thought I was going to, and then they were like, this is all the stuff that you have to do to vote. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing all that.
Yeah.
I haven't voted in a single presidential election. Have you?
Well, I voted for Gary Johnson.
I didn't vote for Gary Johnson. I didn't go to vote.
I voted for Gary, dude.
God damn it, typo. It's your fault.
I know, dude.
Your fucking fault.
You know, a lot of people think, I don't know if you could look this up now. I don't know if it's possible, but a lot of people think that Gary Johnson actually pulled votes from Hillary Clinton than she did Donald Trump.
I can see it because I think, the whole thing with the socially left, economically right, it was a damn good slogan. Like, to be honest, like as much as probably a lot of libertarians, especially people that listen to us, like, and I'm not big about it either, but the slogan itself is good. And him saying it multiple times over and over again on the campaign, it was a damn good rally cry because there was definitely people that were done with Obama and they didn't like Hillary Clinton. Like they just didn't. And they weren't going to vote for Trump, obviously. They were like, nah, there's no way in hell. So I think that was I think they were just like, yeah, like this makes more sense. Our country is in debt. And, there's a lot of centrists that believed more the Gary Johnson route where it's like, all right, gay marriage is fine. Smoking weed is fine. Have your pot farms and your AKs.
Yeah. Well, I honestly believe that because, that's basically what Gary Johnson came off. It's just like this pothead.
Yeah.
Like, more.
And New Mexico was doing really well, to be honest.
Yeah,
it was a conservative state where he was doing very well in his position and had balanced the books for the state for the first time ever. Like that was one of his big running things was balancing the books. And, I think if libertarianism, the most mainstream libertarianism could be is probably that. Is economically conservative and socially liberal. And as much as like maybe our audience hates it, like I'd rather that society than the one that we're in right now.
Yeah.
I'd rather that than fucking what we got. Like let them run with it. I don't think and maybe now it's a little bit different of a feeling for everybody, just the country as a whole. So it wouldn't work. It probably wouldn't work now just because I think there's a lot of people angry about the last 4 years and half of the 4 years before that. So the last 6 years in total. And the other half of the country was angry at those 4 years too. Like
whatever you think about Trump's policies, whatever, but his rhetoric is like, I'm coming in like swinging. And now I think everyone wants that. Like it doesn't matter if
people want people to get knocked the fuck out. I think that's what they want.
They don't want like this milquetoast, like someone that's like, maybe I'm sure there's a little bit of that with Biden because he comes off as this more like, the old style politics that we're used to, like the just well-spoken. Well, maybe not now, but like generally well-spoken. Doesn't really get like hot and heavy, doesn't like sling insults really, just kind of very mellow. The country's doing fine. We're going to get through this type mentality, boring, when you watch it. But that was normal before Trump, that was just completely normal. And then now you have Trump come in here and now everyone wants like someone to be like aggressive. Like and I think that's why people wanted like Dave Smith to be the libertarian guy because he can come in a little bit more aggressive. And I think like that's what people want now. They want whoever, it doesn't matter if you're left or right or whatever. They want someone that comes in and is like slinging insults at the media, slinging insults at their opponents, slinging insults at their own party. Like that's what they want. And they're not. And I think Trump changed that because I think it showed that there's actually, you can win coming in being like this just bulldog, being aggressive. And now everyone wants that. That's like the new dynamic. And I mean, I don't know if we'll ever go back to normal per se, or if everyone's just going to have this like, well, I mean, like, look at the, the MAGA Republicans that come in, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like every time she's on the news or recording something, it's like, I'm going to destroy the Democrats. These people are insane and burning our country to the ground. It's like this over the top rhetoric. And there's a little bit like she's not necessarily wrong when she says that, but now it's like everyone wants that viral, sensational, like
right. But then it starts to feel that way, where it's like, oh, you're just doing it to do it. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Like the Boberts or the MGTs or any of them, they're just like, they're not doing it because that's what they like believe or that's how they talk normally. They're doing it because they saw how it worked for Trump and they're like, oh, this is what people want. And it's like, I don't think people realize that you have to, like, that brashness that Trump has, that's all natural, baby. Like that is that man to the T. That has been him forever. And when people try to put it on and try to do it, it comes off cringy as fuck. Like that's why I have MGT fucking muted on Twitter, dude, because it's annoying seeing her posts. And everything is rage bait. Like they're all rage. They're just as bad as the Democrats. It's all rage bait.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the Democrats. I can't think of like a. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Well,
I might be misremembering.
Like,
well, I'm talking about
Ocasio-Cortez. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now for sure, they're definitely doing that. Like that. I mean, AOC probably got elected like straight from her Instagram. Like her Instagram is exactly how she blew up and like took down some like heavy, long-standing Democrat in New York. So it's definitely possible. I was trying to think if there was like
Omar.
there was like I don't know. I think Trump was the first one between the Democrats and Republicans to come in like swinging like that, and that changed the game forever with how politics is ran. And it's kind of annoying. It is annoying because there's only one original. Everyone's doing a remake. Everyone's a remake now, and
it's like Hollywood, man.
Yeah, it's just like everyone's a remake. They're just putting their own ideology or whoever they got to pander to, but with like this aggressive kind of Trump rhetoric onto it. And I mean, it's annoying. The media would always kind of do that. I mean, they were calling they had
brash. Yeah, they had brash media members. Like that's been a big thing in the media.
Oh yeah, they said. I remember. Oh, I can't remember exactly, but they said something like crazy about Mitt Romney. That I despise Mitt Romney, but they're saying like he is like this major sexist and like I don't know. I can't remember the whole story, but they made him seem like he was like trying to go back to the 50s or something. It was like Mitt Romney, he's not doing that. I promise you. Like this is not like
same thing they did with McCain. I thought McCain had the best shot of beating Obama, to be honest. But that's just because he was so well respected in Arizona. Like he was very well respected in Arizona just because he was a senator here for fucking ever. And his family's been around here for fucking ever. Like, where his house is on Central Ave. Like he was super well respected. And as conservative as Arizona was, it didn't, like it was more don't ask, don't tell policy in Arizona. I feel like even with how conservative it was, nobody really cared, especially in Phoenix. Like, fuck, I grew up here. There's lesbians and gay dudes at high school when I was in high school. Like nobody gave a shit. Like nobody cared. It wasn't like they were getting bullied for being lesbian or being gay. I mean, gay guys always have it harder than I think gay women do, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I'd probably agree with that. We had more. I don't know. I think a lot of times it was just a phase for a lot of girls. Like,
well, I think that's why. Because if you're a gay dude, It can't be a phase. Like if it's a
You
phase,
can't-
nah, you're
You
gay
can't
forever.
come back. You can't come back.
You're gay forever. It doesn't matter.
You got to be in it for life.
There's no like how guys work. It's like there's no bi guys. They're just gay, and sometimes they get with women. Like,
yeah, you have to like. Yeah, exactly. If you were like, you'd have to like leave your area and never come back
Yeah.
if you're a gay dude. But like women you can just switch. I think people would give you shit, but no one really cares that much for some reason. I don't know.
No, it's like okay.
But guys, it's like it's over, buddy. You got to move. Like 4 states over. Find
You
someone
gotta
else to
delete the
live.
Facebook, delete the MySpace,
Yeah.
delete all trace of yourself.
Change
And
your
then-
name.
Yeah, and then just become straight afterwards because you can't be bi. Because once you go bi, you're not a guy. I don't know. Like you're just
Yeah.
you're a gay guy.
Yeah, that's weird when you see. I follow what's his name, Milo Yiannopoulos on Twitter,
Yeah,
and
gay guy.
yeah, gay guy, right? And he's just he tweeted something today, and it was just so funny. I can't remember what it was.
He's another one. He's another one of the rage bait guys. He's another one of the
Yeah,
I think he was doing it before Trump because he was kind of like that. It's
Yes.
very, you know what? It's the media side, the alternative media side. Maybe Trump saw that and he was like, oh, I can capitalize off this because it was the Crowders. It was the Daily Wire. It was Milo. It was like them that were kind of doing it before 2016.
Mhm.
And they were getting a pretty good audience from it. And then Trump was like, well, I'll just run with this. And then they jumped on board with him.
Yeah. Well, I think I think Trump was like really tuned into Twitter, so he was like following or at least paying attention to big account. I think like a lot of it too was just like Donald Trump was just like whatever Tucker Carlson was talking about on a show, that's what he would lean into because he knew that was the most watched show on Fox News. So like we knew that like, wow, okay, whatever Tucker cares about seems to resonate with the American right. So whatever Tucker, goes with, I'm going to lean into, and it pretty much worked with him. And
I want a Tucker Trump episode.
Yeah, well, they did one, and he did I don't remember what it was. What was going on? Oh, it was during like the first Republican debates, and he did an interview but it was pretty mellow interview.
Yeah,
it was not.
Well, I want
pretty boring.
I want like a Twitter Tucker Trump.
Yeah,
interview.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because they've all been good. They've all been good. I haven't watched one that I was like, oh, that one was all right. They've all been like Tucker's asking questions. Like he's not as filtered as he was before,
Yeah, he's way better now that he's like got his like personal podcast, and it's really good stuff. I mean, he's interviewing like Bukele.
I still gotta watch that one.
Massey. That one was actually good. I listened to that one today, and it was good. And I mean, he goes to like foreign countries.
Bukele speak English?
Yeah, really well. It's easy to understand.
Okay,
him.
dope.
Yeah, it's easy to understand him.
Right.
I mean, the biggest one probably was when he interviewed Putin, and I don't think that would ever happen on Fox News. It's just
Do you think
super
Putin
cool.
knows English?
I don't know. I know he knows a little bit because I've heard him.
I know it. Well, yeah.
I've heard him speak English a couple times, but I don't. It's always kind of it's always hard for me to understand him sometimes. But
super Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I just figured, because wasn't he like KGB or some shit? Wasn't he like fucking?
Yep, he was definitely KGB.
Yeah, I feel like he knows English, but in every interview he does, he's like, I speak Russian.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like a thing. I always watch it. There's
it's probably
a show.
smart for the brand,
Well, I think it's really smart because then like more of his people will probably tune in and listen to it because they mostly speak Russian. But also another thing I've noticed, there's a show on HBO that I watched, and it was called Tokyo Vice. And in the show, it was about this American journalist that worked at like this Japanese newspaper.
Yeah.
And
gets involved with
anytime,
the Yakuza.
yeah, he gets involved with the Yakuza. But anytime that
Heard it's
he's
good.
like doing some sort of investigation where he's like talking to people, he speaks like great Japanese. He knows Japanese really well. But when he's talking to people, he'll play dumb and act like he barely knows Japanese.
Right.
And talks to them in like English. And a lot of times they will talk to like the other people around.
People around.
They'll just talk to them openly because they think he doesn't speak Japanese very well. And so they end up like, saying something that's actually like really good information. Now, I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's that kind of dynamic, but I think you can catch people off their guard because at first you just like, I think I've done this when we were in Japan, dude. There's probably Japanese dudes that did speak English. They just acted like they spoke Japanese, and we turned to our friend, and it's not necessarily that we'd insult them. It's just that we would say something like maybe we wouldn't say if we knew he could understand us. And and I think that kind of messes with people's heads psychologically. But I think it also caters
especially when they like say it back to you and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. I didn't mean it in a bad way. I meant it in a good way. I promise.
Yeah.
It means something different in my language.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just interesting that I don't know how well he speaks English, but it could be something like that for sure. That he's he can catch people off their guard, and I know he likes to fuck with people because there's that whole story about. Yes, I was going to say the German chancellor. She's I guess terrified of dogs. Merkel or whatever. Well, she's not the chancellor, and he brought like 2 big dogs with him, and she was like freaked out. And it's just kind of I don't know if he's just being playful or if it's a tactic to get them uncomfortable or something, or he just likes to have fun. But I think he kind of knows what he's doing. I think at least that's how I view him.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of Russia, now this BRICS thing is going live. BRICS is fucking crazy, and Saudi Arabia is like making deals. No more petrodollar,
Yeah. The petrodollar. So ever since like I think 1971 that Nixon took us off the gold standard, they made a deal with Saudi Arabia. That Saudi Arabia, which was like I think at the time, I don't know what it is today, but like 80% of oil came from Saudi Arabia for the world, or most of the world, maybe the West. I'm not exactly sure. And then they made the deal that they would only sell it in US dollars. And that really helped stabilize our currency when it came off the gold standard. And it seems now that they are taking it off the gold standard after it's been like 50 years. And, I don't exactly know what that means, but at least when it comes to Saudi Arabia, I think that means that they are exploring other options with who they'll trade with or what they'll trade in currency wise. And it seems that Saudi Arabia is involved with this BRICS. And I don't know if they're going to like create a new currency or back one currency from a certain country of BRICS. But yeah, I think with BRICS rising, it just shows that United States, they've just gone too far with their like economic sanctions and kicking people out of the Swiss bank system, like Russia and Iran, and it's creating an alternative monetary system that's going to be a competitor, at least in, I don't know how long it'll take, but a lot of countries are involved with it because I think a lot of them are rightfully worried that you don't do something that's like democratic or liberal, then they're going to get punished by the U.S. empire. And I don't know. I think it's like we're changing. I think it's a real true sign that we're not the, it's something we can't control everyone with monetary system anymore. Like that things are coming into a new era, and it's no longer a unipolar moment. It's a multipolar world, and other countries have options now. So it's going to force the United States to, at least in my opinion, at least I'm hoping, I don't know, but I'm hoping this will force them to maybe not play so dirty anymore and be a little bit more honorable in their system. But who knows?
Well, and it's kind of the way that it should be, right? Like we always talk about it. It's free market-esque where we want more competition because competition drives down prices and blah, 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 blah. You can go read any Rothbard or fucking any of them, Mises, like whatever. And it's more competition means more, or drives down prices. Like that's the essence of it. So, and apparently according to EIA.gov, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the top producers and consumers of oil, the top 10 oil producers and share of total world oil production, the United States is number one with 22%, 21 million barrels a day, almost 22. And then Saudi Arabia is second with 11 million barrels per day. And the U.S. is the biggest consumer as well with 20 million barrels a day at 20% of the share of the world total. And China is second biggest at 15.15 with 15%.
Wow.
Yeah.
We
and
consume more? That's interesting.
Yeah, we would consume 5 million barrels per day more.
Wow.
And the total top 10 producers account for 75% of the oil. So it's United States, Saudi Arabia, Russia as the top three. And then it follows Canada, China, Iraq, Brazil, United Arab Emirates, Iran, Kuwait. And those 10 go through about 101.81 million barrels per day. That's how much they produce. And then the top 10 consumers, United States, China, India, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Japan, Brazil, South Korea, Canada, Germany. And the total top 10 on that account for 61% of total oil consumed, which is pretty crazy. I didn't know that. So I could have sworn the majority of oil came out of the Middle East, to be honest.
I think it used to be. I don't know when it changed though, but I did know that I think U.S. is the biggest producer of oil now. I don't know when that.
Well, and I think a part of that was I think Biden did something at the beginning of his term where they had to, and Trump was doing it at the end of his term where they had to become like big producers of oil.
Okay.
So I think we have a shit ton of oil in Alaska, from what I remember, but people don't want us touching it because it messes with the ice caps and blah, 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 blah. And I don't know enough about it to talk intelligently about it. And I don't even know if that's fucking true, but I'm pretty sure I have read that before one time when I could read before the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I don't know. I really would have thought that China would be the biggest user of the oil, but I don't know. They have more cars than us, I think.
Do they?
But
I think, yeah.
I mean, there's other things to use oil for. So
yeah, like nuclear bombs.
Yeah, China. I just searched it. China is the world's largest automobile market, both in terms of supply and demand. I knew they supplied a lot. Yeah, actually, that's what's crazy. A lot of they'll say like I think Ford. I could be misremembering this, but I know there's a lot of American cars. They'll say made in America, and really it's just assembled in America, where all the parts are built in China, and then when they get here, they assemble.
Fucking shit ton of stuff. It's not even just cars. It's like a large amount of stuff.
Yeah, like most of our manufacturing base is in China. They moved it to China, and that can, well, I mean, it ties us with China and economically, but it kind of sucks for the people here. Like the Rust Belt has been like screwed over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happened to Detroit. All the manufacturing went overseas.
Yeah.
And that's what fucking happens.
How much of the world's
manufacturing?
20% of the global manufacturing output comes from China.
That's crazy. What about U.S.? What's the U.S. rate of that?
Hang on. Let me pull it up. The United States is in second place with 16%, almost half.
Damn.
Japan is 3 at 7.5. Germany is 4 at 5.8. India comes in 5th at 3.3. South Korea 6 at 3%. Italy 7 at 2.3. 8 is France 1.9. 9 is the United Kingdom 1.8, and number 10 is Indonesia coming in at 1.4.
That's crazy because Indonesia is it's not a little island, but it's a little island compared to some of these fucking places, and it's got like some of the it's top 10 in the world for manufacturing. That's pretty wild. I think we talked about this on 5 Till Midnight, but have I talked about how giant the fucking Great Wall of China is?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Do you know how big the Great Wall of China is, Typo?
Isn't it like I'm gonna say something crazy here, like 2,000 miles?
No. It's 13,000 miles long.
Jesus Christ, dude.
It's going from New York to LA 3 times and some.
That is crazy, dude.
Isn't that insane? It doesn't make sense. And it was finished. Hold on. I'll look this up. It's the craziest thing. Look, I don't know why I'm obsessed with it. Maybe it's like an autistic tick that I'm just so obsessed with it. But it doesn't make sense to me.
That is
13,000 miles. That's how scared they were of the Huns. Built and started. That's such it doesn't make sense how long it is. So it began as early as the 7th century, and the first recorded instance of European entering China via the Great Wall dating back to 16. When was it? So it's been extended multiple times. The construction of the Great Wall was completed in the late Qing Dynasty in 1878.
Wow.
It was built in various stages over a period of more than 2,000 years. Their earliest recorded construction dating back to the 7th century BC. BC? That's crazy.
Dude, that is crazy.
7th century BC. That's crazy. It doesn't... 13,000 miles.
Dude, that is insane.
That's wild.
They must have... I mean, who'd you say it was to protect them from?
I said it was the Huns, but it probably wasn't the Huns. It was like... Because they started building it in 7th century. Like, I think that was before the Mongols, like, really started doing anything.
Yeah, well, I don't know how well... I mean, that's a long time ago. Like, BC.
Yeah.
Like, that is... And there's probably, like... I mean, I don't know how well China's written history was, but I imagine there's probably a lot of theories behind why that was built. And there's probably not, like, real legitimate answers.
Fucking dragons, bro. I had to fight off the dragons. The Mongols were active from the 11th and 12th centuries. So, yeah, way before. Genghis Khan died in 1227.
Wow. Yeah, dude. Then, yeah, we don't even know.
No.
We have no idea.
Dude, dragons. Fucking dinosaurs and dragons. They were like, fuck these things, bro. We're building a wall.
Maybe it was the white European hordes that were trying to break into their country. They were trying to stop immigration.
Yeah, and we had Sam. If you guys haven't listened to this episode, you should go back and just search illegitimate scholar and biting the bullet, and you can find us do like a 3-hour episode on China. And basically China, like whole existence, once they met white people, were like, fuck those white people, dude. Like,
yeah,
they're just trying to steal stuff from us. And then the fucking white people were fucking up the Chinese people by getting them addicted to drugs.
Oh yeah. The opiate wars.
Yeah. Now they're just doing it again. Except now it's China. Like, here's some fucking, what's the big drug right now that everybody dies from? Fentanyl. Here's some fentanyl, whitey.
Yeah. Like 3 century later, they're getting payback.
Yeah, dude. I don't blame them. Fuck them. I get it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think. I remember that podcast too, because it was like, I think it was just like in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And they're talking about like wars in China, and then like it was like 20 million people killed. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, that's like, I was like, why are so many people dying in these? How brutal are these wars getting over there? And a lot of the stuff we just never heard about. Like, you know, like America's like, oh, boo hoo, we lost 400,000 in World War II. It's like, dude, they're fucking, they're dropping like,
I know,
the entire population of like New York and LA combined in these wars. Okay, like they're going crazy.
I'm reading this book right now, and it's like a post takeover United States. Like, basically something happened. I haven't really figured it out. It's a new book that I just started, but it's like a post takeover United States, and this guy's like the main character, California guy. It takes place in California right now, and he's an IT guy that worked for like a social network, but China, the Communist Chinese Party, came over and fucking just started fucking up California, and our country was falling apart anyways, apparently. And this is all supposed to happen like after this year, 2024. But anyways, so I was like, hell yeah. But anyways, so there was like a suicide bomber from some resistance fighters, and this guy he's like a narc, an IT narc basically, and he's following this girl, and he eats for lunch, and she goes and eats lunch at this one place, and then a bomb goes off. His friend dies, who's also a narc, but they're both like not narcs in the sense that they want they're like for the Communist Party. They just kind of got forced into being narcs, and they just try to keep their heads down. But his buddy dies, and he ends up going back to work after this bombing because he doesn't want to get in trouble. And he's like freaking out because he ended up killing somebody during this thing too, like one of the guards, but there was a lot of smoke, so nobody caught him. Anyway, there was a whole bunch of other shit, but he ends up going back to work, and his boss is like one of these Chinese communist people that got sent over to like make sure that all the whiteys are doing their jobs and narking on people. And she's like, she like walks in, and she basically tells him he looks like shit. She's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, that was nothing earlier today. Why are you freaking out? And he was like, Han died. And she's like, stop playing around. You guys are so soft, like, basically. And then she asked like a couple minutes later, like, where Han is. And he's like, I told you he died. And he was like, you guys need to get used to this. We've been living in this for fucking centuries. Like, just people, basically just like people getting killed in fucking wars and stuff, and like resistance and non-resistance fighters and blah, blah, blah. It's like, they're used to this. And I keep saying, I think I've said that throughout like our time on this podcast, like the United States of America, the people in it, our population is so not ready for anything bad to happen in this country, because we've had it so good for so long that we just couldn't imagine. We couldn't imagine if a war was fought here. We could not imagine it. We do not know what it would be like for bombs to be raining down on our fucking homes in suburbia of whatever city you live in. We have no idea what that is like. And I think that, to be honest, I think that's why like a lot of vets come home from war and shit like that, and they're like, you people are insane. Like you don't understand what the rest of the world is going through on a daily basis. And they get looked at like they're crazy and they have no way to deal with it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when 9/11 happened, like America basically invaded an entire region. We took over an entire region, almost like an entire continent.
The Middle East. Like, fucked them all up.
We just dominated, and that there was like maybe a few other like lower level terrorist attacks that took place after that, but nothing like 9/11. And
9/11s happen to them every day.
Yeah. That's why it's like kind of crazy that we, like, when you look at it from like the whole like Russia-Ukraine war, there was like a whole civil war happening right next to Russia's border for like 8 years. There's a civil war happening right next door. And if there was a civil war happening, and like, doesn't matter who's involved. It literally wouldn't matter. If there is a civil war happening in Canada or in Mexico, like, Americans would be like in this now. I don't care who's in charge.
When Chapo's fucking son was kidnapped, but arrested in Sinaloa, and the Sinaloa cartel was like, yeah, give him back. And if you don't, we'll fuck up the entire city. People in Arizona were like, they need to end that now. They need to end that right now, because and the Mexican president at the time was like, we don't want the bloodshed for this one person, so we're giving him back. And they gave him back. And I bet you money that there was a call placed from somewhere in the United States that it was like, hey, we'll get him a different way. Give him back. We don't need this on our border.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, like, that unrest, like, dude, when that unrest happens, like, I mean, there's a significant amount of migration that's happening, that's coming up from our southern border. But when war breaks out, it's way worse. Like, millions and millions of just Ukrainians have moved into Germany, England, other countries in like Eastern Europe. Like, a bunch of them have fled, and that would happen. I mean, it's just natural. That's just naturally what happens when war breaks out. Millions of people are going to start migrating to a different place because, well, their homes are being destroyed. There's a war going on, and so, like, and just to have that, I mean, hell, when other countries when we invade other countries, we bring them here. We're like, hey, we'll bring all these Afghans with us. We're like, just from a military perspective, that is the dumbest thing you could ever do, but whatever.
Has it worked out? Is it working out? Debatable.
But it's just crazy that it's really hard for, I think, a lot of people, and even I would say myself, it's hard for me to imagine what a war here would look like.
God, I think about it every day. I think about it every fucking day, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, like, what, like, I mean, it's just not like, here in America, we get to play pretend, and then if it gets
soft.
If we can play pretend so much that if it gets popular enough, they'll make a movie out of it in Hollywood, and just for us, and we get to. I still haven't seen it.
I watched it. It's all right. It wasn't bad. It was a pretty good movie. It had like almost zero to do with like what actually is happening. It's all about the journalist, and like it's basically about a group of combat cameramen. But they're not combat camera from the military. They're just fucking like.
Do you ever figure out why it's happening?
No.
Okay, that's what I heard.
Yeah, not really. You have like kind of an idea, but I mean, not really. The journalists, they're basically trying to. So Washington D.C. is surrounded. The Western Front is what they're called. Are the people that are going after Washington D.C. And it's like a coalition of like fucking California and Texas are basically the Western Front, but all the middle states are like all fine. Like they're basically two of the journalists, they talk about their families and they're like, my family is just sitting on a farm acting like none of this is happening. And there's even places on their way there that are just, it looks like a normal fucking town, like normal ass town. Yeah, very realistic. And they're like, they walk into this store and they're like, hey, do you guys, spoilers, sorry. They're like, do you guys know that there's like a war going on? And the girl behind the counter is like, yeah, but it's not really affecting us. So we just kind of act like it's not happening. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. But literally the night before, 5 miles away from where they were from, you could see and like watch bombs going off and shit like that. And they're just kind of chilling in their town, like whatever. And it was like a bigger city wherever they were at, but still it's just funny. But it's a good movie. It just wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah. I think it was just, I don't know. I mean, some people, I don't know what will happen, but
you know what it felt like to me? It felt like trying to glorify like journalists, to be honest. Like that's kind of
they do that. They do that all the time. Like they never there's never I can't really think of any, like the only time remember, you ever watch that show Succession on HBO? You ever watch that?
I don't know. I think so.
That's like the only time they kind of demonize it's not even necessarily journalists, but the news network. And it's more like, I mean, Fox. They're demonizing. Yeah, it's basically a ripoff of Fox News that this guy, but I mean, this guy, I mean, I'm sure like what the dude is basically like a powerhouse. And it really kind of shows that like the media has a lot more say in this country than like political people. Like the president, like there's one point in time where like they're trying to like something I mean, I think this is kind of realistic to what happened in ours, but there's like some weird stuff happens with like an election, and this news network's like, we're gonna call it. And it's like, we haven't even got the confirmation yet. It's like, doesn't matter, we're gonna call it. And then they call it, which causes like all the other networks like, oh, I guess we're calling it, and they call it, and then but the cycle is like, hasn't got complete yet. Like the election's like not even done. Right. And they called it, and it was done. It was over. He's president now. And there's no like changing people's minds. And they were like, oh, well, you can't call that. Like, you know, there's this process and rules. And the guy that lost was saying all this, and they're just like, we don't care.
Nah.
You're a lot. Yeah, you suck. And I was like, oh, dude. But it's just like, it kind of gives you like that insight. But that's the only time that I ever like watched a show where they actually like demonize journalists, really, because most of the time they're like, or have you ever seen Nicolas Cage in The Weatherman? Yeah. He just gets shit on by everyone because he gets the weather wrong.
There's actually one other one, and it's I think it's like The American Story or something like that, and it's Zac Efron when he goes to visit his buddies in Vietnam because he's just a merchant marine. Have you seen that one where he brings beers?
I've not seen it yet. No.
It's actually a really good movie. I liked it a lot, but there's like a part where he went up all the way to the DMZ, and like, or kind of like the actual story is pretty fucking crazy. What you could get away with in the 60s and 70s is insane in our time frame. Like, it's so crazy. But anyway, so this guy goes and he's going to give beers to all of his buddies that are in Vietnam, because he's not in Vietnam. He can't go or something like that, and or never joined, or I don't remember what it was. He got lucky or something. And so he's like, I'm going to go do it because this is what I should do for them. And so he like gets pretty far up there, and he's finding like, and he finally makes his way back because he's trying to find a way home now. And he's sitting at this bar in a major city. I can't remember what city it is. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but he's sitting at this bar, and it's like a journalist bar. Like American journalists are at this bar, and they're like, oh yeah, we're getting told that nothing's happening up here, blah, 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 blah. Like some people are talking about it. He was like, he just stands up and he was like, I was just there. They're They're doing all that. Like, they're doing that and more right now up there. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And the journalists are like, no, we just had journalists come back and they said this, that, or the other. And he was like, I was literally giving my friend Bobby Johnson fucking beers up there to him and all of his boys, and they're fighting. I almost got ran up on and killed by fucking blah, blah, blah. And they were trying to say like the war was over. And he was like, they're still fighting. I don't know what you're talking about. And then there ends up being within that week, ends up being like a big attack on that. And all the journalists are telling him he's fucking wrong. And there's like a big attack on that town. And it kind of like coincides with his actual story, but part of it's, Hollywooded up and stuff like that. But it's just, I thought that was the only other one that I saw where like the journalist got made out to be like kind of stupid. But there's one journalist, of course. There's one journalist in this one that was like really good and he believed him and, wrote all this shit.
Yeah.
But it was just funny.
Yeah, the journalists always seem to like they're the darling for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. They can do no wrong.
It's because they're the media. They get to pitch the narrative, so they're gonna pitch themselves in the best light, of course.
I know. And then that show Tokyo Vice. I mean, it's nice to pretend that these people are like good journalists because the whole show is like this guy's a good journalist trying to be a good journalist, and I take it with a grain of salt. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It's like, it's cool to show, but I don't know what you're really doing,
Yeah. Well, and then that's the problem is like you have like those those journalist outlets, like the New York Times or the Washington Post that used to break like some crazy big stories about the U.S. federal government or some company doing something crazy. And they like there's that movie, The Post, and I think it's with what's his fucking face? Forrest Gump. Goddamn Tom Hanks. And he breaks like some story about the U.S. federal government and, there are actual stories of what these like people in these institutions have actually done. And then, we get to now in 2024 and it's like, they don't do any of this. It's all just, and part of it's like the people's fault, I think, because part of it's like, we're so obsessed with the quick story and, getting the hype train out there. And so that's how they've started writing. And then part of it's like, then you have the alternate media who's doing the exact same thing on a lot of things. It's all hype train stuff. And you can't tell if they're tabloids or if they're actual journalists because sometimes they write their threads on Twitter and you're like, what the fuck am I reading? And where is any of the proof that goes along with this?
Yeah, Twitter is like the tabloid. Which I never really read the tabloids, those ones that like stick out and it's be like,
there's aliens.
An alien. And you're like, oh, yeah. Well, I didn't know that. But, but like maybe they were closer to the truth this whole time. Like into like some crazy wild theories. And you're like, dude, is this real? Like, what the hell is this? I remember the only time I ever saw them when I was like checking out at a grocery store.
Yeah.
That was the only time I ever saw them. And, but that's what I feel like a lot of times Twitter in a lot of ways has become that. It's like the earth is flat. Is it aliens or demons? Like, we don't even know. Is it, I don't know. I mean, we're going to find out if dinosaurs are real next week. So
yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy how it's turned out, but the media is always fucking, they're not the darlings and don't believe them when they say they are.
Yeah. Do you have to, I don't even know how to like you gotta be like checking your sources on a lot of these people. Cause there's some like, even the ones that are independent now, cause now it's popular to be independent. Barry Weiss is independent. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, are they credible? Like, I doubt it. So who knows? We're in a new era. Like, people aren't, but I think that's actually a good thing in a lot of ways. People will have to put their own name on it, their own brand, and you know what you get from them at least. And it won't be like, it's their spin on it, not necessarily an institution spin on it.
Yeah. I just think the scalability part of it is hard because now you have no idea, like as a whole in the country, it's like, well, what do you believe? Do you believe just the people that you listen to, or do you, that's the hard part.
Did I just flip it?
Yeah, you did. It fucked me all up. I was like, whoa, I'm moving.
I just figured out I could do
that. I don't really have much else left there, Typo. I got fucking crap to do to prepare to go on vacation for the first time in like a year. So,
yeah, I don't really got anything else. We should have some guests coming out, coming on next week, and we're gonna try to line up more guests after that, and hopefully we can get
more
this video up. Yeah, hopefully we can get this video up, and check us out on 5 to Midnight. I don't really got anything else, guys.
Yeah, that's it for me. I'll be well, it doesn't matter. You guys will hear this after the fucking tournament, but there's a live stream event, so I'll just post that on Twitter. You might be able to see it. I don't know if it'll replay, but anyways, that'll get posted at some point, and you can go back and find it because this will already be out by the time I play. So other than that, yeah, check us out on 5 till Midnight. Go check out all of the other dudes on 5 till Midnight. They got their own shows, and they're all pretty good. So other than that, that's the shit show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.